You are about to witness history in the making.
Hello, welcome to another Pop Culture Gamers, episode 146. I feel a bit of a stranger at the moment because I've not been here for a while. But Haydn hasn't. How you been doing, pal? You all right?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Been keeping the Pop Culture Gamers flag flying with a number of YouTube videos.
Jolly good. I have noticed a couple of them sitting around.
Yeah.
So, what have you been up to, mate? Because, as I say, we haven't spoken properly for a little while now, so...
No, I know life's sort of like getting away from us, isn't it?
Just a little bit.
So, for me, in terms of gaming, being quite unfocused, I did complete Assassin's Creed Odyssey on the Xbox this time because I'd completed it previously on the PlayStation. When I say completed it, I mean completed it. All of the gamer score, the whole lot. You know, it wasn't just finished the campaign. It was all of the DLC and, you know, everything that you can possibly do.
You can throw at it, yeah.
Yeah. So now starting on the same thing on my PC version.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I do like that game. But yeah, so my couple of my big bits of news. First off, my Steam Deck arrived.
Yes, I hear.
Yes, you are.
Yes, thank you, Siri. My Steam Deck arrived after quite a considerable wait from February. Obviously, not as long as some people had. I seem to get very good delivery, although I was talking to one of our listeners, Terry, and his son was getting a Steam Deck, and he had a terrible time with the delivery company, and I think it was linked in with strikes and stuff like that as well, so it probably wasn't at the best of times for him to receive it, but we got it in the same batch.
Oh, that's good.
So I've been doing some videos on the Steam Deck, and I've got some other ones planned as well. Well, I'll talk about it later on. Other than that, had finally got the news that work is starting on the extension to my house. It's tomorrow.
Oh, yes, maybe say about that earlier, yeah.
Yeah, which
was that sort of last minute decision that it finally was going to happen, or?
Well, it was supposed to start mid-August, and then it was beginning of September, and then it was mid-September, and then it's the end of September, then it was middle of October. And after all of the messing about, my wife, shall we say, wasn't very best pleased. And,
No.
You know, one of her talents is sarcasm, and she phoned them up.
Oh, well, women have got lots of sarcasm.
Oh, yes, she has it in buckets full. Anyway, she phoned them up, was quite sarcastic about stuff. And she said, well, tell you what, I'll phone you on a weekly basis. So they phoned up at the end of last week and said, oh, we're coming on Monday. So they're coming to start the work, so which is the worst timing possible, because tomorrow I'm going to London for 2 days.
For work or pleasure?
I'm going for a conference.
Oh, okay. Which isn't great, because for you to get to London from where you are.
No, it's with it's a great it's a one run by a charity called the Mary Collins Foundation, and it's From Discovery to Recovery, the conference title, but it's all about, you know, child online exploitation and stuff like that, and combating it, which is obviously what I do during the day, sort of thing, my day job. So that's sort of where I've been, and also looking after my new dog.
Oh yeah,
Loki.
Yeah,
the dog of mischief. So, yeah, that's my life. So what about you, Steve?
Not a lot, really. Holiday came and went. That was nice to get out in a nice warm climate. We'd like to probably go and do it again, even though it won't be till April. Just spend 4 days. Yeah, what else have I been doing? I suppose I've watched more movies than I have done gaming. Well, I say that. I've been watching more movies than anything else, I think, recently. I don't know yourself.
I would say I've done that as well, but the Steam Deck sort of got me looking at my back catalogue a bit.
Yeah. No, it's. I think it's only some of the 4K stuff that was penciled in to come in has all been flying in. Obviously, I don't know what you've been chatting about over the last couple of mini shows.
Well, I haven't actually done any mini shows, to be honest. It's all been online, so it's all been the YouTube videos.
Right. Okay. So before we went away, obviously I went to the cinema to see Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
Yes, me too.
In a crappy little Cineworld place. It was run down, mate, because it's awful. It's not their fault, but it was still nice to go, nevertheless. I obviously weren't going to get to go and see Star Trek 2, which you did, because we were flying out to Alicante at the time it was being released on the cinema. Yes. Although I've seen it enough times in the cinema to still appreciate it in my head anyway. And then while on holiday, Amazon decided to deliver my Star Trek: The Motion Picture Ultimate Edition, whatever you want to call it is. I never know what it is now. And it was sitting in the rain on the doorstep for two to 3 days.
You mean the complete saga?
Yeah. Well, whatever you want to. It's not a saga, is it?
The Complete Adventure, it's called.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, I've got mine right here. So.
Yeah, mine is now. It's not even opened yet because it's a second edition. So that came. That was a bit naughty of Amazon to do that. When, ironically, the other day, something that I pre-ordered from a few months ago, when they delivered it, when was it? Friday, while I was out and about work. Mm-hmm. They tucked it neatly behind the bins and took a photograph where they left it. So why didn't they do that with that one as well? Is it different drivers or what?
It'll be a different driver, probably.
So, yeah, that did get my back up a little bit. But then I'm thinking, what? You've probably got the same problem I have. You've probably ordered things that you've forgotten you've ordered. And so I started to go through my emails to see what's incoming and not incoming. So there's a few bits and pieces up to Christmas that have been ordered. And I'm making sure when they're coming, to be honest. But I just had to make a little list so I know where I'm at the moment.
I've got one of my pre-orders coming tomorrow.
What was that?
It's the Thor: Love and Thunder 4K Steelbook.
Oh, okay, the movie I fell asleep at, which I wasn't going to talk about today anyway, but I did fall asleep halfway through it. No detrimental to the cast and everyone else at Disney.
No, there's nothing the matter with that movie. You were just knackered.
Probably. And I just missed the last probably 40 minutes of the film.
Yeah.
But,
so half of it, more or less, then?
No, I'm trying to remember. Well, I can't even remember where I was up to, actually, to be honest. But yeah, and there's a few other bits and pieces I've been watching. I was watching because the flight we had was Ryanair, so it was only a quickie, cheap flight. So they don't do like anything when you get on board. You just get on there and get off the plane, sort of thing. So just watched a few movies on my phone, stuff like that, So yeah, so not really. I do now have Disney Plus thanks to my son-in-law. He's logged me into his account.
Yay!
Not that I've watched much of it, to be honest, because there's so much there that I don't really need to watch. It's like it's so saturated with some of it. It's a little bit overwhelming, I think.
Yeah, I mean, on Disney Plus, obviously, I've been watching She-Hulk.
Oh, you're the only person that likes it, then?
I actually, it's fair to say that it's divided some of the community in terms of it.
Yeah.
But there's nothing the matter with it. It's just a light-hearted show. That's all it is. I'm not, it's done more in the style of Deadpool.
Okay.
Because it's got breaking the fourth wall, which is what Jennifer Walters does in the comic. So, she breaks the fourth wall in the comic. She does it the same as Deadpool, on the show as well. And it's just a comedy. It's just light-hearted. It's 30 minutes. It's not, it was never going to be anything, great. If we want a great Hulk, we'll get Mark Ruffalo. Do you know what I mean? If you want, the action sort of thing. And it's much more sort of focused on Jennifer Walters rather than anything else.
Yeah.
Or her struggles with identity between being the Hulk or She-Hulk and herself. It's all right. Like I said, it's not going to set the world on fire, but it's not offensive. It's just, it's like, unlike, what do you call it? Ms. Marvel, which was absolutely terrible. I couldn't watch any more than the first half of the first episode before I just thought, no, this is not for me.
Yeah.
That was definitely way too much design targeted at the 15-year-old girl sort of market. Which is exactly who it should have been targeted at.
I mean, there's some good stuff coming up to watch, I must admit. I haven't seen Cobra Kai yet because that came out while I was away.
Oh, I've watched all of that.
Yeah, I'm sure you have.
Me and my son binge watched it in 4 nights.
Did you really? So we've only watched one episode of that. We've been catching up with other stuff on the Skybox as well. But it's nice to know they're doing another movie, though, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So that'd be interesting. It's gonna bring those guys back in to another Karate Kid movie, which is going to be probably linked to Cobra Kai at the same time, isn't it? So it's already one universe. So
exactly. So spoilers for the news section, folks.
I'm sorry, I've not looked at. I've not even looked at. I'm just bringing up web pages at the minute in my slow PC. So yeah, and what else has been going on in the world? I mean, Sony are throwing their toys out of the pram at the moment. God, are they just doing that? It's like, really? And Google have chipped their penny's worth in when it's nothing to do with them, thinking that Microsoft are taking over the world and no one likes it. So, yeah, crazy world we live.
Sony could recreate Game Pass on PlayStation.
Well, it's just that Sony are very two-faced with what they got and how they keep it, and then when something like this happens, they don't like it. It's like, oh. But anyway, that'll all come out, and we'll find out finally how the Activision deal goes. And Sony might have to just lump it, unfortunately.
Well, exclusives don't stay exclusive forever, do they?
No. But if a company buys
Nintendo,
yeah, but if a company buys Call of Duty, it's tough, isn't it? You either have to, they give it to you in a certain time frame and how it works. And that's what you have to do. And, it's like Sony buying Square Enix. We don't see much Final Fantasy on the Xbox. I can't see anyone complaining about that,
Yeah.
But anyway, should we move on to the news? I think because we're a bit behind tonight.
No longer a dream, but a reality.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, so do you want to enlighten us into what we have?
All right, so a couple of little bits of news. First off, great news for me, Assassin's Creed Mirage. So the Assassin's Creed franchise is headed in a different direction with the new and upcoming game, Assassin's Creed Mirage, which is looking to return the game more akin to its original roots rather than the way that it's been going. The game is a sort of prequel to Assassin's Creed Valhalla, as it features Basim as a playable character, and its gameplay will reportedly be a significant departure from the recent RPG sort of style. Not sure how I feel about that because I quite like the RPG elements of it.
I mean, I saw the trailer for it on the when they had their event and they were talking about it. I think they want to give us not a 200-hour game anymore. I think they want to dumb it down a bit. I know you don't mind that, and a lot of people don't.
No, I don't mind it because Assassin's Creed, there was lots in it, so I was quite happy with that. And especially when I bought the top rate, one which had. But it was the £100 version or whatever it was.
You're singing all dancing one, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I got my money's worth out of it.
I mean, I actually was not. I won't talk about. I've only played one game anyway, but in when we talk to gaming. But I did for a little while just re-download the trilogy.
Yeah.
And had it. I don't know if you would have seen any of my achievements pop up every now and then because there's not very many, but when they do, you might take notice. But it was from the second Assassin's Creed game that I was playing.
Yeah, I like Ezio.
Yeah, those are just more close to how I like Assassin's Creed. And yeah, it was great just to dive in there and have a little bit of a play with it again, even though I couldn't. You've been away from them games for so long, those older ones, you just all fingers and thumbs and, how do I play this?
Well, actually, I've been playing Assassin's Creed, not 2, 3, or 4. I've been playing just Assassin's Creed on the Steam Deck. And it's
hunting for feathers. And
Assassin's Creed, that's Assassin's Creed 2.
Is it?
Yeah.
What did they have in the first one then? I'm sure there was something, didn't they? Did they have feathers in it?
There was a collectible, but because on Assassin's Creed 2, what's it, 2 or Brotherhood? It was one or the other. You had to fill up a chest full of feathers, and then when you got 100, you then got a special cape, which you had to then wear in all of the cities in order to get an achievement. But it wasn't in the first one. The one that was in the first one on Xbox 360, you had achievements which were, one of them was linked to the number of jumps that you did, leaps of faith, and another one was about switching the viewing mode when somebody was talking in the future.
Okay,
desperate stuff. So there was all that sort of thing. But anyway, the new Assassin's Creed is going to now take place in Palestine, Israel, and Syria. So it's going to look more like the sort of like original game in terms of look. It's not going to have the skill trees at all, but evidently it's not going to have, or it might not have the future elements of it either.
Which some people didn't like anyway, to be honest, did they? They weren't. I mean, we like to be in the world we're in, whether it's Venice, Italy, or wherever. But going back to the real world took you out of that experience, didn't it? And you have to wander around this office block of a. It was
a bit of an taking out of the immersion. I personally am not going to be that bothered about losing the modern stuff. What I would have liked them to have done is doing an Assassin's Creed with the modern stuff. So, it's like a present day or a futuristic Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, well, the next one coming on from this is going to be it's definitely going to be in Japan now, isn't it? The one after that.
No, I think there's another one that they mentioned some online.
I thought I read somewhere that it was.
Yeah, there was talk about a Japan one as well, but that's further off in development, I think.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this one's coming more sooner rather than later, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is next year.
Hmm.
So, other bit of news, and this has affected me, and I am not happy about it at all.
Isn't it really obvious this would have happened?
No. I think you're looking at going ahead. Another one. I'm talking about the Steam key being revoked.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. So I saw that tweet. So what was all that about?
Right. So people who bought.
I'm not sure I understand.
Thank you, Siri. Shut up. People who bought the Dark Pictures House of Ashes on PC via Steam, and this can either be CD keys or even through Steam itself, they have had their keys taken away from them. In an announcement on Steam, Supermassive Games announced some House of Ashes Steam keys that have been purchased from certain partners have been reported as revoked. They apologise for the inconvenience and are working on resolving the issue as soon as possible, and updates will be shared by Steam. So a similar announcement was also placed on Steam saying, we are aware that some owners of House of Ashes who purchased their keys from one of our partners have had their key revoked. This is a mistake and we apologise for the inconvenience. We are currently working to resolve the issue as soon as possible in order to restore access to all impacted players. We'll keep you informed. So I just started playing this game. I was really enjoying it, and now I can't play it because it shows I don't own it, and it's got like a account alert thing on Steam and stuff like that. It's utter bull.
BS.
Yeah. They should not. What they've done, evidently, is it's some mix-up with like a demo or something that they've revoked. But instead of revoking the demo that had been issued, they've revoked everybody's Steam keys. It's
weird.
It's utterly stupid. It's someone had one job and they've really, really cocked it up. But anyway, I'm waiting to see what happens with that. And I would just like to say very publicly, thank you so much, Supermassive and Steam, for completely ignoring my question about when are you going to resolve it. So, yeah, I'm not happy. I've also contacted CD Keys and they've not responded. To be fair, it was on Friday evening, so it is the weekend.
It's funny because I've spoken to CD Keys before in the past regarding odd bits and pieces. They do reply.
Yeah.
I have had replies from them regarding a download key of some kind, So I wouldn't be surprised come about Monday if you hear something.
Well, I mean, what amused me was someone said, you should have got it from a reputable source.
It is a reputable source.
CD Keys is a reputable source. And also, it's happened for people who have bought the game through Steam. It's not,
which is it's even more reputable.
It's Steam itself. It's happened to. So it's just Supermassive and Steam have made a massive mistake, and they need to rectify it. The next bit of news, which you were talking about, which is not what I was annoyed about because it was a former one.
Sorry, yeah.
The next bit of news is probably not surprising to anyone, but quite good news for people who were affected. On September the 29th, Google announced that Stadia will be shutting down on January the 18th, 2023. They will be getting in touch with important information on what this means for people as a Stadia player. Stadia will remain available until the service is down in January. During this period, people will have access to the game library, including pro games, if you have an active pro subscription as of the 29th of September, but aware that the publisher support for the games may vary and it is possible that your gameplay experience may be affected during the shutdown. Google is offering refunds to Stadia users for hardware purchases, Stadia Controller, Stadia Foundation Edition, Stadia Premier Edition, or the Play and Watch with Google Play TV package, made on the store, and game purchases and add-on purchases made on the Stadia store, and the refund process will take some time, but it's expected that the majority of refunds processed will be processed by 18th of January. So I think that's actually very, very good.
Do you know what? It's not bad, considering they could just say two fingers and say, nothing we can do about it, and bye-bye, thanks for the fish.
Yeah. Or what they could have done is say, we've struck a deal with, Steam, with Valve, and all of your purchases are
But this is what annoyed me this is what annoyed me about Google chipping in with Sony's hump about the Activision Blizzard acquisition from Microsoft. I mean, Google, look, they're shutting Stadia down. What's it to them anyway? Go and sit under a rock where you normally live, mate,
Yeah.
But that's nice to know that, all you guys that pay for it and invested their money in it will get something back for it, hopefully.
And so it effectively means is that you've had, a couple of years of gaming if you started off from its launch for free by the time you finished it.
Well, hopefully whether they'll give you a discounted price or the whole money back, who knows? You'll have to wait and see on that.
Well, evidently it's going to be the whole money back. But let's face it, Google can probably afford it.
Well, they're a multi-million company anyway, so it's no skin off their nose, is it?
Not million.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, a good bit of news. Steve, do you want to do the...
because there's not a lot out there. We think there's not a lot out there. Okay, October the 4th, we've got Overwatch 2 from Blizzard on all platforms. We've got the Dakar Desert Rally. This is from Saber Interactive on all formats. October 7th, we've got Chaos Head Noah, which is on the Switch. There we've got Chef Life, a restaurant simulator, which will be on all platforms. No Man's Sky coming to the Switch as well. So good fun for those who play that. October 11th, we've got No More Heroes 3 on all platforms, excluding the Switch. October the 13th, we have the Eternal Cylinder on PC, Xbox, and Xbox Series X and PS5. WRD Generations, KT Racing from Namcon. That's on all formats. October the 14th, we have Tico no Chichitsin Rhythm Festival on the Switch. And we have Dragon Ball The Breakers on all platforms. And finally, we have Saint Kotar, all platforms as well. Which looks good.
Certainly does.
Nothing there that really floats my boat right now.
I'd be interested to see what the take is on No Man's Sky on the Switch.
Yeah, hopefully you can. I don't know. It is multi-platform, isn't it now?
It's multiplayer now, yeah.
So you should be able to hopefully log into your account that you've already got and carry on playing.
I'm not.
Or not.
I'm not sure because it's down to your save on your local system, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I've tried No Man's Sky on the Steam Deck and it works.
Yeah.
So, article.
Right, you're going to go and do Game Pass?
Yeah. So Game Pass.
Games for Gold.
I'll do Game Pass and Games for Gold. So we got for Games for Gold, we've got Windbound from the 1st to the 31st and Bomber Crew Deluxe from the 16th of October to the 15th of November. So there's two games for you to not get excited about.
I don't know. I'm just going to go to. I'm just having a quick look. Games for Gold, because it is the 2nd, believe it or not, of October now.
Yes, indeed, and of course now we don't get the last gen or the previous gen, the 360 games, because they've cut those out. And what I wasn't expecting actually was a halving of the games, but they didn't actually say they were going to halve the quality of the games that they were releasing either. But they have.
Well, it depends what's available, though, isn't it? I can imagine.
Yeah. So, in terms of Game Pass, on the 6th of October, we've got Medieval Dynasty on the Series consoles, Xbox Series. 11th of October, we've got Coral Island on the PC. Also on the 11th, we've got Evil on console PC. On the 13th, we've got Dyson Sphere Program on the PC. Quite looking forward to that one. See what that one's like. On the 14th, we've got Scorn on console and PC. On the 18th, A Plague Tale Requiem on console, PC, and cloud. On the 20th, we've got Norco on console and PC. On the 21st, one for Steve, Persona 5 Royale.
Yes.
On the 27th, Gunfire Reborn on console. And then on the 27th, we've got Signalis on console, PC, and cloud as well.
Yeah, Persona 5. I mean, I've played it to death on the PlayStation. I started playing the Royal Edition as well. So I did actually pick it up. But I will start from scratch. Oh, that another 100-hour game. It's fantastic. Honestly, it's really, really good game. I loved it. I know it's probably not your type. I
played it. I hated it.
Yeah, and I played it and I loved it to death.
Yeah,
it's just one of those weird games that pull you in the way they do. Anyway, yeah, Japanese fun.
So PlayStation Plus, on PS Plus monthly freebies, we've got Hot Wheels Unleashed, Injustice 2, and Super Hot. So actually, way better quality on PlayStation for the monthly games, and you get 50% more.
And I own Injustice 2 anyway. So, yeah.
On PlayStation?
On Xbox, mate.
There we go. You don't own it on PlayStation.
No.
In terms of PS Plus, that catalogue is to be agreed, as is PlayStation Plus Premium and Extra. So there's not going to be anything there. Everything that's leaving on the PlayStation Plus in October, again, that lineup's not sort of sorted.
No.
Twitch, we've got Fallout 76.
Fantastic game.
Yeah, it used to be Fallout 76% off, and it was released.
It's now a great game. They've improved it thoroughly, apparently.
Yeah, well, you just think you could have got it for free, Steve.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have had my helmet.
And what can I say? Total War, Warhammer 2, Middle-earth Shadow of War, Glass Masquerade Origins, Loom, and Heroes Hour and Horus. I've added an extra one in. I've got a new category for a GOG game because they offer free games as well.
I get emails from them every week with free games or codes.
Master of Magic Classic is available for free at the moment on Curator Games.
Give me what that is. I have no clue. I have to look it up.
It's a card game, I think.
Okay.
And then on Epic, we've got Runbow. We've got Drone Racing League. Both of those two are available for your downloading pleasure until the 6th of October at 4 p.m. And after 4 p.m, it's Rising Hell and Slain Back from Hell. So they're quite clearly getting into all of that Halloween sort of vibe midway through the month.
Yay.
Well, from the 6th. So, Steve, what have you been playing?
Not Destiny. Well, I haven't put it on. I haven't put it on once.
That explains why shares have gone down.
I know. I haven't. I know. I've just been taking a break, as they say. And Mark knows that question very well. I've been playing Cyberpunk, and yeah, it is such a good game. I mean, people are probably very wary of it. Updates have been coming in left, right, and centre. A load of fixes have been coming in over the previous times, and I think is it now over a year? This has been out, maybe longer now.
It's about a year, yeah.
And they're on now update 1.6 or 1.7, something like that at the minute. And yeah, honestly, I have been having a ball on my second playthrough. Just come up to the last part where you can go through the door where it says you go in here but with no return because it's to complete the story. But this time I've been getting more into crafting because I didn't really, the first time I played the game, I didn't go into it too much. And you can upgrade weapons, you can craft weapons, improve your stats with what you've got. What they brought out now, they brought out the wardrobe. So you like in Destiny where you can wear whatever you want
Yeah.
You can do the same thing here, but you still have the same stats on different armor pieces that you have. And the story's really good. This time round, there's like 2 love interests in the game. And Judy was the first one I did last time, which is the girl with all the tats on her body. But I was going for Pan Am this time, but it didn't go down too well, the way it finished. But I carried on playing the game. I finished off her quest line, carried on with Judy, but ended up sleeping with her. So it just seemed like that's the way it went. Not that I was going in that route. It's just the way it happened.
How does your wife know about this digital infidelity?
Do you know what? It's funny because if she'd have walked in while this woman was sat on top of me, bare naked, just groaning and moaning.
Yeah, it's a bit like that. If you play a certain bit of Heavy Rain and you go down a certain dialogue route, you get a similar sort of thing.
Well, I know I haven't finished the enjoyment of that. If there's any enjoyment you can say in that, because there is some shouting.
You mean you keep going back to the last?
No, I saved a bit. Yeah, no. There's a when you complete the story, you will go back. I will go back to her because she's your girlfriend.
Yeah,
and she gives you the keys to her apartment as well. But she'll end up meeting you at the end of the game for another part of the way that the story finishes, and there are some certain slight quest lines on how that will play out.
So are you getting the DLC for this as well?
That well, I'm not sure if that's going to come. I did buy.
It's on series consoles. It's not on previous gen.
Yeah, if I have to pay for it, I'll probably pay for it. I don't know if I need to pay for it or not, because Cyberpunk, or should we say the developers, CD Projekt Red, have had their ups and downs. So I don't know in what form that will come in. But with the way the game finished, which I don't want to spoil for anybody, it's fascinating to know where that goes from there. I will play. I've got 3 playthroughs to do, because you've got 3 different types of characters.
Yeah.
So I'm on my second playthrough. At the moment, I'm probably going to stay away from the finishing the game. I'm enjoying finding out there's new weapons, there's new clothes, there's new katana swords and all sorts that you can play with in the game. And the quests still keep coming in at the same time. So it's just having a blast. And I think this game, as much as it's had a bad rep on start, if people haven't got anything to play, pick this up. It's probably pretty cheap now, and well worth playing, especially if you've got the newer consoles anyway.
Well, I must admit, I've been thinking of loading it on my Steam Deck.
It's a good RPG. Let's put it that way. And it's got traits from other RPGs that you know. I do love the idea that so obviously you've got different vehicles in the game, just like in Grand Theft Auto, for example. And I'm using the bikes more. But what's great about this is that, when you get overcome with too much stuff that you've been collecting, it slows you down. But what you can do is the back of the bike or the vehicle will have your stash. So it's not like you've got to try and get home and put it in your safe in your apartment. You've only got to call the bike to come to you, because you can call the bikes and the cars and they will drive to you on their own.
Yeah. And
you can just then go to the back of the bike, throw a lot of stuff in there, and then go back and collect everything that you didn't pick up when you were playing the playthrough on whatever quest you were on. With the green, purple, and any gold drops you get with the weapons and stuff. It's so much fun. I think the voice cast is really good for it as well. There are so many different ways to play this game, from anybody's point of view and how they like to play RPGs, and I just can't really recommend it enough, to be honest. It's just a fantastic game.
Fair enough.
So I have it loaded here at the moment. I'm in a store, and there's a load more nice clothes I'm looking forward to bump up my stats and attributes, which I'll be doing a little bit later.
Good stuff.
So let's hear what you have to say about the Steam Deck.
Okay, well, first off, I've done a few videos about it, so check out our YouTube channel when you've finished. So, got my Steam Deck, and while there are a lot of devices similar to the Steam Deck, it seems to be the new generation of console does this sort of style now. this device is absolutely amazing. I mean, you can play a 20-year-old game 1 minute and be playing a modern 2022 AAA title like Forza, or the PC version of God of War or Spider-Man the next minute, all on the same device. Playing AAA games on the highest settings will deplete your battery in about an hour and a half. The battery, I would say probably the battery life is the biggest issue that the Steam Deck has, because obviously the newer the game, the more power pull that they're probably going to have.
What sort of batteries does it have in it that you charge with?
Well, you get a USB C sort of charger, which I can't remember how many watts charge it has, but I've got a 20,000 milliamp battery, external one that I can plug in, and I think that'll give it about an extra half an hour kick. So it's not. The games, the games do pull an awful lot of power if they're modern titles, but there are things you can do to vastly increase the battery life.
Like chuck it in airplane mode.
No. That makes next to no difference.
No, but I've just meant it just in a figure of speech.
Yeah. One thing that the Steam Deck does do really well is all of the different options that it gives you for being able to save the battery. So what you can do is you can reduce the screen refresh rate and the frames per minute that the game will output on. This considerably, if increases the length of your battery. You're talking about maybe by up to 100% on a modern, AAA title.
That's not bad.
So you could get, nearly 3 hours out of a title you'd get an hour and a half out of. Of course, if you're playing a light indie title that doesn't have a lot of, complicated graphics, or you're using it as an emulation station, you're going to be able to play for a lot longer. And here is the real sort of workaround for the Steam Deck, is if you stream from your PC to your Steam Deck, if you're at home, you got your PC on and you're in the living room, watching TV with the missus, you can stream your Steam games to the Steam Deck and you'll get about 6 hours of gameplay.
Oh, okay. Because it's not pulling it because it's streaming, yeah?
Yeah, because it's streaming it and it's putting it on screen that way. So that's quite considerable, all in all. Everything in your Steam library is basically separated into groups when you get your Steam Deck. So you get the verified, which are all of the ones that play with no problems at all. It's like they're designed for the Steam Deck, just the same way as if you bought a Switch game and you put a digital download and you installed it, it would just play no issues. You then have your playable games, which will play, but they might need a little bit of coaxing along. That could be something as simple as you might have to use the on-screen keyboard, or it could mean several different other things and a combination of those as well. But it's still playable on your Steam Deck. And I would say probably half of the games that I've got that will work on or that Steam says will work on Steam Deck are verified, and the other half are playable. So, I think I've got, out of my 1,500 games so far, about 700 games that are playable on the Steam Deck, just under.
Yeah.
So the other categories of games that you have is either not unsupported and not tested. So unsupported will have a little circle with a line through them to say you can't play that game, supposedly. And then not tested means that they just haven't got round to testing it at the moment, because there's something like 50,000 games on Steam. So it's going to take a couple of days to catch up on that Steam Deck library, make sure all those games work. Now, just because a game says it's unsupported doesn't mean it's not going to play. Believe it or not, even though Valve have said,
that's like it's like PC, isn't it? It will play. You got to work, make it play.
No. Unsupported is supposed to mean a game won't play.
Right.
But there's a big Steam community out there which you can tap into, and you've heard me talk about the indie game Planet Alpha before now, yeah?
Yeah.
A beautiful little game, a bit like Limbo, but obviously coloured. It's sort of like 1950s sci-fi sort of looking. You got like Robbie the Robot sort of characters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Lovely game, but not supported on the Steam Deck. Apart from the fact that I've got it working on the Steam Deck, and that's because you can get things on your Steam Deck to work by a bit of tinkering, even if they say that they're not supported. And that's the great thing about this device. It's a tinkerer's paradise. If you want the vanilla console experience, you can have that. You download, you go to the store, you buy the game that's compatible, and then you play it, and there's no problem with that at all. If you want to tinker, or if you want to program or whatever, you have that option as well.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic, really is a fantastic piece of kit. And like I said, I had no problem at all. I downloaded one piece of software, which is you're recommended to do anyway because it has games compatibility. Changed the version of I forgot what the program is, but the version of it that it wants you to load in the Steam Deck library to the version that is suggested, and that game worked no problems at all. Absolutely no problems at all. So yeah, it's fantastic. Certain games you can't play, at least in SteamOS, like for example Destiny. But as per that video I sent you today, you can install Windows 10 on it. And because the screen is smaller or small enough, you can actually get for free a copy of Windows, because Microsoft said as part of the licensing agreement, if the screen's below, I think it was like 9 inches or something like that,
yeah,
you can have Windows for free.
There you
so
go.
You can actually download it. And what's more is, if because there is a way to boot from an alternative drive other than the internal one, just by going into the boot, the boot interface, you can boot into Windows without affecting your SteamOS system.
Right.
So really is well worth doing it. I mean, the version I got of it is the 512 gigabyte version, so that's the maximum storage that you can have that you can buy on the internal version. These things have been made with upgrading in mind and fixing in mind. So if, for example, you start to get stick drift, you can take the back off, take the sticks out, put new modules in.
Right.
Likewise, you can take out the NVMe drive and put a similar sized NVMe drive back in, but it's going to have to be that like really short one. And you can get those up to 2 terabytes at the moment, but they are very, very expensive. I did look at a 1 terabyte one, but I thought, because to be honest, the other option that you have is it has a SD card in there as well, or a SD card reader, micro SD. And all I've done is put a micro SD card in there, and you just put your Steam library on that instead.
Okay, that's pretty handy to save some space, then, isn't it?
Oh yeah, and not only that, but they're hot swappable, so you can, put your Steam library on an SD card. And let's say you have on one SD card all of your emulators. On another SD card, you might have all of your Star Wars games. On another SD card, you might have all racing games. If you want to do it, go in that sort of direction. But that's
or all your Bethesda games, but not maybe yourself though, but someone would. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and make sure that the Steam Deck didn't work. So yeah, you could do all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Really easily, and it doesn't take a lot of doing. It's the only thing you have to do when you get a new card is to format it to the right format. There was a problem at one point where the SD cards were getting bricked if they didn't format properly. But they're all right. It's all right now. Because that's the other thing about the Steam Deck is the fantastic support that Steam is putting out there, because it's constantly updating the operating system. And you can sign up for the beta and see the new features that are coming. And there's an awful lot that's really, really exciting about what's coming out on it. The other thing about the version that I got, which is because it's the 569, it's the top of the range Steam Deck, is you get an extra glass screen to cut down on the glare. Obviously, the 512 gigabyte storage, and then you get some digital things, different layout of keyboards or different colour schemes, and you also get an upgraded case. But even if you buy the 64 gigabyte 369 version, you still get a case to go with it. So that's really good. The only problem that there is with the case, because the case is lovely, apart from the fact you can't secure your Steam Deck in there, and if you accidentally forget to zip up the case and you pick it up by the handle, your Steam Deck will fall out.
Ooh, not exactly. Good.
But if you go online, you can get what's known as a Steam Deck Saver.
Right.
And what the Steam Deck Saver is, it's just something you can 3D print, and you can put it into your Steam Deck. There's a strap in the Steam Deck. You wrap that through, pull it tight, and then what it does is it just holds onto your Steam Deck when it's in the case. A friend of my wife's husband printed off me a copy of it. It was a defective copy, and the resin, whatever it is, the filament was just too thin on the the clasp bit. So as a result of that, it broke. Fortunately, not when my Steam Deck was dangling out of it, me showing it as an example. But it was really, really thin, and it should have been a few layers of it just to give it that rigidity. But so I need to get another print off of that. I need to find someone who'll do as a print off of the Steam Deck Saver. When it worked particularly well, because it just sort of clapped around the Steam Deck, and it was held in place by the ribbon cable that is in the ribbon that is in the Steam Deck case.
Yeah, nice.
But you can also install Epic, Origin, Uplay, and play games off, all of those systems as well. It has a desktop mode, and it will boot into a version of Linux. I think it's KDE desktop, if I remember rightly.
Right.
And you can also get Game Pass to work on it as well.
There you go. That would be handy, wouldn't it?
Yeah, so there, on Game Pass, all you do is just stream all of the games, because you install Edge on it, put in a couple of lines of code, insert parts, set the controller to a specific standard, and that's it. It works.
So it's very multi-purpose.
Very, very multi-purpose. It is a really terrific buy. One of our listeners has, said on Facebook, they've actually given up on the PlayStation and bought this. Because the other thing as well is if you stick it in a dock, just any USB-C dock that's got a HDMI out, it will display up to 4K on a TV.
What about using a separate controller? Is that possible?
Yes, and as a matter of fact, I've actually done a video on our YouTube channel which shows
There you go.
how to sync up your Xbox controller for the exact reason of if you want to put the Steam Deck on your TV so that you're not having to have a cable, pulling on a USB socket going into into a hub or anything. And you can play with that. I'm also planning on showing you how to sync up your PlayStation controller, your Nintendo Pro controller, Pro controller, and if you've got one, because I do have one, the Steam controller as well. So I've got those videos planned.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really is quite a universal little device, but it is a PC. At the end of the day,
yeah,
just with Steam OS, you put Windows on it, you've got a Windows PC. So check out my unboxing, check out my 5 top tips, and check out my syncing your controller videos. I'll put links in the description if I remember on. But yeah, that's it.
Cool. So anything else regarding consoles or anything game-wise you can think that you've forgotten?
No, that was it.
Yeah. I do know that, say, it's that time of year again, FIFA's come out. This is going to be the last FIFA, apparently, that's coming out. I don't know how that's going to work, but there is a 10-hour play demo at the moment, so you can download the whole game, like I've done, and you can pay for the first 10 hours to see whether you want to purchase it. Other than that, I can't think of anything else at the minute. Cool. Okay, so we'll go to movies, TV, and streaming.
In quest of a better life,
okay, so you've got a little bit of news there. I've got some in my head, which I'll think about in a minute. Do you want to enlighten the people to what you've got?
Yeah, sure. So The People's Joker was pulled from the Toronto Film Festival after one screening. So after a single screening at the Toronto International Film Festival, the comedy film The People's Joker was pulled from the event's programming. The movie, directed by Vera Drew, from Who is America, told a different origin story to the world-famous Batman villain, much like Warner Brothers did with its 2019 version of Joker starring Joaquin Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
So in this universe, the title character is of gay identity, and in the synopsis to the movie, it's made clear that it was completely unlicensed by DC Comics and Warner Brothers. And if the movie wasn't on either company's radar up until the event, it certainly was after, because the film maker retweeted a post which stated that the illegal Joker movie was hit with a cease and desist order by Warner Brothers. Details of the movie was pulled and are yet to be made official by any other parties, but it's probably quite safe to say that this has to do with the naming and appearance of the titular character. The People's Joker page on the TIFF website now reads, "The filmmaker has withdrawn this film due to issue rights. We apologise for the inconvenience. Current ticket holders will receive an email from TIFF regarding regulations with information on their purchase." And I've heard that the filmmaker is still intending on releasing this somehow. So, an interesting one. But I can't believe, if they're intelligent enough to make a movie, that they never thought that maybe Warner Brothers might be a little bit peed off by them nicking their intellectual copyright.
Yeah.
It is kind of a bit obvious.
Weird. So, any other news? Because I mentioned about, you said it was in the news, but I mentioned about Cobra Kai coming out as a movie, the next Karate Kid movie. Yeah,
I was just doing that a bit tongue in cheek, but I wasn't mentioning it myself, to be honest.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that came out. We've had since I've been away, is there one more celebrity passed away, unfortunately? And that was, come on, she was in Star Trek, remember? DS9.
Yes. I forgot what her name was, but she was also in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest as the
Well, there. And she was in Brainstorm as well.
Yes,
which
she
I,
was.
But do you know what? It's that old age kicks in when you're not prepared for it. You can never remember. But so Louise Fletcher.
Yes, that was it.
Passed away. Real shame, as I say. Big film.
She was a very, very good actress.
She'd done more than you probably imagined, to be
she's done an awful lot more.
You know, I mean, she was evil as the nurse in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And if some of you guys have never actually seen that movie, I highly recommend it. It's such, I mean, I won't give away the ending, but it's a very sad story at the end. But yeah, she played a fantastic role in that. And so one of my favourite movies was Brainstorm.
Yeah. But I mean, she really was good as Kai Wynn in DS9.
Yeah.
You know, I did like her. Well, I loved to hate her character together with Gal the Cat.
Yeah.
You know, when they were
I liked him. I liked him. He
seemed like
I had a love-hate relationship with him, I think, to be fair.
Yeah.
You know. So, yeah, that was a real shame. What else? So Netflix, finally Blonde's been released, which I really need to spend some time with. Did you know about that movie?
Yeah.
So this is a biopic on Marilyn Monroe.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah.
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 That's funny because it was out in America, I think, a bit earlier with Netflix. Moving swiftly on with them, still we have got the new Beverly Hills Cop movie is being filmed at the moment.
Yeah, just wow. I mean, I saw a picture of Judge Reinhold. I hardly recognised him.
He looks a bit old there, doesn't he? He looks totally unfit as well.
In a matter of fact, I forgot what his boss's character was called. You know, the guy or his partner's character. But he hardly looks any different in comparison. You look at Judge Reinhold and you think, my God, who's swapped him out for a 70-year-old man?
I'm just going to have a quick look, actually, because it's been a while since I actually saw it. And I saw some of the screenshots that were on there during filming I think in Los Angeles, I presume it was. And yeah, but apparently they're trying to bring back the whole cast as best they can.
Didn't one of them die?
I'm actually looking at pictures of Judge Reinhold. It doesn't even look like him.
Although it doesn't.
You know, because he is 65, mind you.
Well, I wasn't far off with this 70-year-old man.
And John Aston that plays his partner. I'm just to see if I can see some photographs of him, actually. He actually looks very good. Very good.
John Ashton actually now looks younger than Judge Reinhold.
And he's 74. And then you got Ronnie Cox as their boss, who we remember in RoboCop.
Yeah, but he died 16 years ago, so you're not exactly... We're not going to... Oh, no, sorry. No, it was his spouse who died. I thought he had.
No, he had. He's 84.
Wow.
It's frightening, isn't it? Because all these people that we've got to grow up as teenagers and watching all these movies, and we're kicking in our 50s, going towards our 60s, and these people are a bit further in front of us like that, and you're thinking, oh, God.
Hey, you might be going towards your 60s, mate. I'm going towards my mid-50s, and I'm not even halfway to that yet.
Yeah. But, I mean, I'll give it a go. You know what it's like. It could be a bad film for all we know.
Well, if it is anything like Coming to America 2 was, I hope they don't bother.
Yeah.
Because that was a bad movie.
Yeah, I'm just
thinking about
bad movies. Go on.
Well, no, thinking about Coming to America and my link to James Earl Jones stars in America.
Oh yeah, do you want to talk about that? I know you're going to say about that.
James Earl Jones is standing down from doing the voice of Darth Vader, and he will. And he will be replaced by an AI voice.
Why can't they just cut and edit all the sound bites that he's actually recorded over the years?
Well,
I'm sure he can say impressive quite a lot of times. Do you know what I mean?
Why can't they just say, "Yo, Jim, do us a favour. Here's a load of words. Speak them into a microphone. We'll record it. Jobs are good." Do you know what I mean? That's all they need to. But evidently, they've got some AI learning on his voice, and they're going to recreate his voice artificially.
Yeah. I'm just looking actually because what you were just talking about. I'm just looking at some of the other cast from Beverly Hills Cop, and another favourite of mine who plays Russian enemies in Bond and everything else, Steven Berkoff.
Yeah.
I think he's still around. Yeah, he's kicking in at 85 at the minute. Yeah. And he's very much a thespian actor himself. Yeah, he's very good. So yeah, I'm sure there's other things Netflix have got up their sleeves more than some of the the big carnival companies at the moment.
It's Netflix, isn't? Is it Netflix doing it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is Netflix doing it. Yeah.
So it might be better because the other one was
Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
But I mean that's not here or there, depending what the producers and everything else that's going to go for it. We get Harold Faltermeyer to do some of the soundtrack. Put some of that back in there as well. Give it that 80s feel, but it would be in the now. I mean, one of his. It's funny. I'd love to have seen The Golden Child too. That would have been interesting to do.
Yeah, that would have been interesting to do.
Because it was a one-off that was it, wasn't it? It just disappeared.
Yeah, and it was one of Eddie Murphy's best movies.
Yeah, I had watched it recently. I think I went into Paramount Plus and I watched it on there. But yeah, because I know his career has had a very rocky ups and downs, isn't it?
It has.
And there is
the Blu-ray of The Golden Child somewhere.
Oh, you have you? You've got a copy of it, have you?
Yeah, I got it on Blu-ray. I picked it up from Amazon. Yeah.
But he's done. I mean, some of that stuff he's done over the years, I just wouldn't care to watch. This wouldn't be for me,
What you mean?
Stuff like Norbit and.
Oh God, yeah, that was absolutely awful.
And my kids liked Meet Dave at the time when that came out, but that was just
Yeah, there was definitely his career took a nosedive.
Yeah. But
I didn't mind that one 1,000 words though. When he did that,
I don't remember that one.
It was where he was a bit of an ass, and some guru put this whatever on him, and every time he was nasty to people, a leaf would fall off a tree. And then when all of the leaves fell off the tree, he'd die. And that was the story. And it was about him trying to, save his own life, but also become a better person at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I think I've been catching up on movies over the last few weeks. I've been watching some stuff for a bit of research, just for another podcast, with Wrong Reel, which I'm going to be doing next weekend. I've got a load more to do on that because I'm doing one on Giorgio Moroder. But there's a film I'm going to say I watched. I don't know if you've actually seen this. I watched Giorgio Moroder's version of Metropolis. Did you ever get to see it? This came out in the early 80s.
It's a long time ago, but yeah.
But I never caught it when it came out, and it was on my list. I thought, I'll leave it on, and I was able to find a copy on YouTube to watch of it. So, as you're probably aware, this film is eons old. It's sci-fi before sci-fi existed.
It was the inspiration for things like Star Wars and stuff like that.
Oh, God, yeah, and Flash Gordon. And
if you look at Metropolis, that's Coruscant, And if you look at the female robot, that's C-3PO.
Oh yeah, exactly. That's where they got the ideas from and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they put it to a soundtrack, including a load of bands and artists, including Queen, who then ironically, when they did Radio Gaga, came out the same year, because I looked this up. There, because obviously at the beginning of Radio Gaga on the video, that's Metropolis as well.
Well, that video's set at the beginning in Metropolis, yeah.
It is, yeah, at the very beginning, but then it moves on to other stuff and bits and pieces of that. But yeah, really enjoyed watching that. That was, I watched it twice actually, because the music's pretty good anyway. But it's like, I think if anybody likes movies, that's the sort of thing I think you need to watch. Is it a movie you watch before you die sort of scenario? Because of how it's that impact it has on the cinema from 1930. I can't, it was 1937 when it came out. I can't remember now what I said.
It defined the science fiction genre.
Yeah, yeah.
In a very literal way. Just like the Flash Gordon film reels used to, they defined science fiction. This defined that because it was before them.
Yeah.
It's when you look at that film, it was a silent movie, and it was absolutely amazing considering when it was made.
That's the most. If you look at it and watch it, and then say, how long ago was that made?
Yeah.
It's. I think it was. 1927. I was 10 years out. There you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's utterly amazing. I mean, that was before the Second World War.
Yeah. And if you think of what movies were probably around then, if they're, it blows your mind, I think, to be honest.
It certainly does.
Yeah. I think another piece of news? Paramount Plus in America have taken off all the Star Trek movies, all the first 11, leaving the Kelvin timeline only on there.
That is strange.
And I saw that as a tweet today, and I'm thinking, you've got to be kidding me. Why are they doing that? All I'm going to say is physical media, don't have to worry about it. Do you know what I mean? I'm sorry to say, I know people say streaming is the way to go. No,
streaming is not the way to go.
No.
Physical media is 100%. If you like your movies, you buy it physical media. Otherwise, you're just playing it being a film buff.
Yeah.
You're not doing it right, because if you love a movie, you want to own it.
Exactly.
There are loads of movies like the one we've got to talk about next that you want in your collection.
I mean, the other two here, which I've watched those over the last few days, 5 and 6.
Yeah.
I'm keeping the box set. There's no need to replace it at the moment. For the cost and price of how you're going to swing that around, there's no point in doing it, I think.
I mean, we had this discussion.
Didn't we? Yeah, donkeys ago.
And you were like, oh no, they're going to do it like this. And I said, I bet they don't.
Well, then instead of doing it like that, instead of, say, bringing out a 3 box, another box set with 3 in it, or whatever it would have been.
It'd have been 2, because it'd just been 5 and 6.
Yeah, I thought they might have put in Generations as well, maybe.
Yeah, your thought was that they would do, they go up to First Contact, and they would do the rest with the Calvin timeline in the last group.
But Paramount are like any other company, aren't they? They like to bleed you and drip you.
They're more than bleed and drip you. It's like this is sort of like to the point of they're a vampire, they've knocked you out, and now they've just got you on life support, and all that you're doing is just generating blood. They are.
Saying that though, although the Kelvin timeline, I do own them in a box set at 4K. That's a good set on their own.
Well, I've got them all in 4K as well.
So that's fine. And all that's left now is just to bring out the Generation movies. But again, there's some real hunk steaming pile of doo-doos in there. If I'm going to be polite about that, there are some bad ones.
I think it's actually quicker to just count the good ones in the next generation ones.
Yeah,
'Cause
two. Two or three if you tops.
Two. You got 50% more than me. Because I got to First Contact and that was it.
Well, generations. I mean, it's a little bit of a fan pleaser, but
I wasn't pleased when Captain Kirk. What say? In case somebody seen that 20-year-old movie.
What did he say when they had the campfire in Wyoming?
He'd die alone.
There you go, and that's what happened.
But he didn't though, because Picard was there.
No, he died alone from his group, Kirk, and he was on his own. He wasn't with his family.
That was just William Shatner trying to make his character even more. We all know what that was about.
Yeah, but I saw this week. I don't watch this trash, but you've heard of the Masked Singer, they call it, or something like that.
I've heard of it. I never ever watched that. But
I saw on video of it, and there was this big thing, a teddy bear type, and it was William Shatner under the mask. So he's demoted himself to doing that. Excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, and he's been to space.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know. I with the trends, 4K changing, with movies anyway, and we all have our favourites we still want to see in there. Even from the Star Trek stuff,
I think for me, the issue for me is I don't have a problem with having to rebuy it in another format. Don't have a problem with that at all. But what Paramount did with that 4-movie collection, because I said, no, this is odd. They should have done 1 to 3 and then 3 to 6. That's what they should have done, but they did 1 to 4.
Yeah.
And I can understand why they did 1 to 4, because 1 to 4 is sort of like, take out 1, 2 to 3.
2, 3, and 4
is one story.
It's a trilogy.
Yeah.
So.
But they did 1 to 4. They didn't do, he is 1, he is 2, 3, and 4, and then we'll do 5 and 6 separate. But they did it this cockeyed way, and it really annoyed me when they did 4, and then they've done 5 and 6, and now you can buy the whole thing as a box set, because I said to you, I bet you anything that they will do 1 to 6, and it's exactly what they've done.
And it's expensive as well, though, isn't it?
Oh, it's £100, and they will bleed you dry for it. Absolutely bleed you dry.
Yeah.
But mind you, we say that, and you say it's expensive. You and I
know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say.
On one movie.
Yeah, but with The Undiscovered Country, I'd never seen the director's cut until now.
Fair enough.
So that was good to watch. There's some extra scenes in there.
Yeah.
And that is a good...
Star Trek 5 is not good to watch at any point.
I want to see...
I know this ship like the back of my hand.
Well, do you know what? As much as I say, I saw at the time they came out, and someone in cinema, and I loved everyone as they came out, because it's you expecting it, and it's Star Trek, and you love it. There is a group trying to push for a special edition of Star Trek 5, because how it was made and what was in it was not the full potential of what the movie could have been. They all know that.
Star Trek 5, the good version.
Yeah. I mean, the soundtrack's better than the film, per se, but, who knows if it...
The soundtrack to EastEnders is a better Star Trek soundtrack than Star Trek 5.
No, Jerry Goldsmith is who he to say, but...
Let's face it, Star Trek 5 is probably the weakest out of all 6 movies.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, it is. It is.
By a very, very, very long way. I always used to think, when I was younger and ignorant, that Star Trek, the motion picture, was one of the poorer ones. It's not. It's a more mature version of Star Trek. It's definitely a episode of Star Trek that was stretched out to a movie, but it is nevertheless, it's a fantastic story. It's very much based on the Changeling episode that was in the original series. It's another riff of that. That's fine. But anyway, we're going to talk about that when we get to what we've been watching, because we haven't done cinema releases yet, Steve.
Yeah, I know. So let me click back. So I was watching something here. So cinema releases. So from the 5th, or should I say the 10th of the 5th?
Yeah, it's American.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say. So the 5th of October, we've got Matilda.
Yeah.
The 6th, we've got Corsage. The 7th, we got The Woman King. Then we also got Amsterdam, which I'm interested to see what that's all about. We have Vengeance, The Lost King, Nothing Compares, which I think is a documentary from looking at the image there, and hence the title of the song.
Yeah, Sinead O'Connor.
Sinead O'Connor.
I think it's just about her.
All That Breathes, another documentary. We have Living on the 9th of the 10th. The 11th, we've got A Triangle of Sadness. 12th, we've got Woman Talking. Then on the 13th, we have The Legend of Mula Jat.
The Banshees of Inisherin.
Then we've got After Sun. And the 14th of the 10th is when I'm going to the cinema to see Halloween Ends, which I'm so looking forward to. Then we have Lili Crocodile, Emily, All Is Vanity, Decision to Leave, and She Said. But only one movie sticks out there, and it's going to be a third and final episode, and possibly someone's death, or both. I don't know. So I don't know. I've got a Scooby-Doo of Halloween Ends, and that will be a tearjerker if it is going to go that route.
Yeah, definitely.
I did watch. What's it? Oh man, going right out of my head last night. I watched the chat show last night. Oh, I'm going really stupid. Thank you. Yeah, and Jamie Lee Curtis was on there.
Right.
She was chatting about that, and she's a very ballsy woman. She is. She doesn't like to mince her words.
Oh, no, she's quite forthright.
And David Tennant was on there as well, and there was a lady I think from a BBC TV show, a crime drama as well. But yeah, it's nice to listen to her anyway. Do you want to do Blu-ray DVDs?
Blu-ray DVD. So coming out from tomorrow, we've got Denzel Washington 5 film collection, which includes Little Things, Training Day, The Pelican Brief, Fallen American Gangster on Blu-ray DVD. We've got the Dr. No 60th Anniversary Special Edition with Steelbook on Blu-ray, Scream 2 on 4K, The Thing, Titans of Cult 4K Blu-ray, The Untouchables 4K Blu-ray, Thor Love and Thunder 4K Blu-ray and DVD, Thor 1-4 movie box set on Blu-ray DVD, and the Tim Burton 9 film collection, which includes Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Beetlejuice, Batman, Batman Returns, Mars Attacks, Sweeney Todd, The Corpse's Bride, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and Dark Shadows. And then on the 10th of October, we've got the absolutely fantastic, well worth buying, get this in your collection, For All Mankind Season 1. We've got Iron Sky and Iron Sky Director's Cut 2-disc edition, which I already have on Blu-ray.
I'll have to blow the picture
and I've had for years. So it's a repeat of. Obviously, must be doing a re-release, but it's got the direct.
Show us again, because I can see it. I've got to be on big screen now. It's blurry.
I've got the.
I can see it now. Just about. I can see the title. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Which is basically it's Nazis on Mars. Oh, not on Mars, on the moon, rather.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a laugh. We've got Mortal Kombat Legends Snowblind, RoboCop the series pilot. No, definitely not. The Walking Dead, World Beyond Season 1 and 2 on Blu-ray and Season 2 on Blu-ray. And then we've got Universal Classic Monsters, Icons of Horror Volume 2s, including The Mummy, The Bride of Frankenstein, Phantom of the Opera, and Creature from the Black Lagoon on 4K Blu-ray.
That I'm interested in, because I've been itching to purchase the first volume, which is already out.
Yeah.
It's a bit tad expensive, though, but those 8 movies are just classics in their own right. 4K black and white. I don't think I own any movies in black and white that are in 4K, to be honest. I'm assuming the blacks are going to be black and the whites are going to be white.
Yeah, well, I say it's in black and white. It's mostly black and white. There's a bit of red. It's got Schindler's List.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a coat or two floating around or a balloon.
Yeah.
What else have you got in there? So look, yeah. So the Titans of the Cult, that'd be a steelbook edition, the same as it did with Matrix.
Yeah.
They're doing that. The Untouchables I've already got. I don't know why that's unless it's just there again. Tim Burton's
a new batch release, isn't it?
Possibly, yeah.
Rebadged it or something.
Yeah, I don't understand about the Tim Burton collection because I got 3 of those on 4K anyway. But I wouldn't mind Mars Attacks on its own. Great, it was a great film. I know some bad acting in that movie, especially from Pierce Brosnan, but Michael J. Fox didn't last for 2 minutes before he got wasted with a laser gun.
Great film, though.
But it just pays homage. Dr. No, because obviously Bond is 60 this year, and we're supposed to. I don't have true this because I did see a bit of a news clip on it, and in my bones, I've got a funny feeling we're going to hear an announcement in the coming days regarding the next Bond.
Yeah,
I think being with the anniversary at the moment, and say on the James Bond Twitter page says there's something to be announced rather shortly. That's all it can be. There's a documentary on Prime coming up, which is The Sound of 007, which would be worth watching as well. But we're going to have either a great thought, and we're not even going to go down the route anymore because we've been there many times on who's going to be the next Bond. But we'll have to just wait and see on that. And it will be what it will be, and we will all enjoy it, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
There's nothing else to be said.
We
would have to lump it or like it and not be annoyed with it or whatever it's going to be, depending on who's going to be it, you know.
I think, and it's not because the actor was bad, because he's not a bad actor, but I think they're going to do with James Bond next what they did to Timothy Dalton's Bond. They're going to try and change the formula. It's not going to work. We're going to get a couple of really poor movies. Then we'll have a long gap. That's my gut feelings, but we'll see.
We'll see. I mean, the bookies have changed again. Hardy's up there in front of the minute. Idris Elba is down the bottom.
I don't know. I'm surprised it's not RuPaul by everybody what people have been saying recently from Barbara Broccoli.
And also, what is it? What else have we been there? Yeah, Doctor Who, they've announced when that's going to be coming out now, haven't they?
I'm interested in seeing what
the regen,
the new Doctor Who's going to be.
Well, it's not going to be the new Doctor Who yet because it's going to be David Tennant for three big episodes. So
yeah, I think I like the idea of going back to revisiting David Tennant's Doctor.
Yeah, so that will probably get big figures, I should imagine, from the BBC.
Yeah.
So, cinema charts. Here we go. We got 5 to go. So at 5 we got Moonage Daydream. At 4, See How They Run. 3, Avatar. 2, Don't Worry Darling, and 1, Ticket to Paradise. I know Avatar's doing the rounds at the cinemas at the minute in 3D. I did see it like that actually when it came out. And as 3D goes, I'm not one to advocate it too much. It wasn't bad, but they're bringing it out leading up to the new movie.
Doesn't need 3D.
No, I mean I've got my Blu-ray special edition is fine as it is.
Yeah.
I'd like to have that in 4K when it comes out, but at some point. But
I remember talking to somebody I used to work with, and they were saying 3D's the way to go. You sticking with 2D, you're in the past. Really?
Yeah. This time next year, we're going to have possibly 2 movie franchises kicking back in again. So there's going to be another Saw movie coming out, Saw 10. And another franchise I do adore, and I've got the 5 box set Blu-ray behind me, is there's another Final Destination, which I do like those movies. They're good fun.
Not my bag.
No, do you want to do the DVD chart, Blu-ray chart?
Yeah, sure. So DVD charts, we've got Police Story 3 Super Cop. We've got Jurassic World Ultimate Collection at number 4. At number 3, we've got the Police Story Trilogy. So quite obviously Police Story has been released. At number 2, down from 1, we've got Elvis. And at number 1, straight in, is Jurassic World Dominion.
It was okay. But I tell you what, I enjoyed Elvis better than that.
Yeah.
Personally, I loved Elvis. That was fantastic. And if he doesn't get an Oscar out of that, I'll be well disappointed.
So
but we'll see.
Shall we talk about Star Trek: The Motion?
I might as well unbox mine. I'm not taking it apart yet. It's still got the cellophane on it.
Well, I've done an unboxing video on.
I know you have, yeah.
And actually, it's had quite a few views, actually. But normally, because when I put stuff out, I'm in the tens, don't get very many. But this version has been one of our more successful videos, surprisingly enough.
Probably the content, again, isn't it?
We're talking like, I think probably about the 6th or 7th most views on a video that I've ever done.
So there it is, there, sealed. I'm not taking it apart yet. I've sent the other one back.
Yeah, because you had a really interesting issue, and I'd suggested to you something, and then you said, "Oh no, I've done it," and then it seemed to work after that.
But I don't know if it's half of it or part of the problem that we had. Although I do like to plug in every now and then me update on me Blu-ray player, but it was very weird. Should we talk about the boxes itself? Should we talk about the movie?
Okay, well, I mean, I do on my video. Again, I'll remember to put the link in the description. And I have talked about the box set. I think for the amount of money, because it's £60 what we've paid for it, I am under-impressed with the box. I don't like the pocket sleeves that they've got where you're scratching the disc to get them in and out. I hate it's that stupid sort of like wide book effect that's the normal height of a like the James Bond collection.
Oh, I was just about to say that.
Yeah.
In comparison, actually, I think that is maybe better slightly. Out of the two,
it is the better out of the two, but I don't like the way that they've done the discs in this. I hate the way they've done the discs in this.
Because we like to look after our discs, don't we?
Yes.
And I mean, it's weird that we have this one here, like that.
Yeah, there's one in a little pocket on it.
Which is the one you want to be watching because it's all the new bonus material.
Yeah.
And which is a great watch.
Yeah.
A great watch.
I mean, in terms of what you get, it looks nice and it's beautiful graphics.
I mean, I love the
cardboard is not very thick. It's not super rigid cardboard. The mid inserts, which are not at either end, are very difficult to get out. You feel like you're either going to rip the cardboard or bend the disc when you're trying to get the discs out. So
I'm assuming the 4K one would be the first one on the left out of the three discs. And do you know what? I'm just here with my fingers thinking, how am I going to
get that out of there?
Because I'm at the moment, you see, what I did do when I did get them out, I didn't put them back as far in.
Yeah, well, what I've done on mine is on the 4K ones, put them at, when it opens up, because it opens up like threefold, doesn't it? And the one on the right has inserts for the discs at either end, and I put them in those ends for the two 4K ones, and the other ones are put in the other places. Because
if you do, I'm trying to get them out. It's like, so the two that are where you got the breakdown of the Enterprise, and you can see inside it like a little map, isn't it? Yeah. With just like some of it sliced away as a cake, and you can see all the different decks.
Yeah.
And so those are pretty well easy to get out. I can get them out quite well. But the one that's important. Here we go. I've had to use my fingers under the, and doing that. It doesn't look too bad actually. It looks pretty clean. It is a bit, because the one you're never going to play is going to be the Blu-ray, isn't it? Because that's not what it's all about.
Yeah, exactly. So what I've done is I've put my 4K ones in the more accessible slots.
So you got two 4Ks.
Yeah.
You got the.
So you've got 3 versions of the movie, but you got 2 discs, and this was what threw me, because I was looking to say, well, surely there should be a 3rd version of the disc, but Star Trek: The Motion Picture and a theatrical cut and a TV cut are on one disc.
Yeah, which is the 4K. Let me have a look. Tell me on this, is it? So I've got here a Blu-ray with Dolby Atmos, which is director's edition, dumbed down from the 4K.
Yeah.
And then you have you got 2 4K discs. You've got the director's cut and the motion picture, and the motion picture will have 2 versions of it on there.
The motion picture has both versions. The director's cut is on its own.
Yeah.
So
that's it.
So those 2 I've put into the easy to get in and out of.
So that one there is now in. As much as what I've done is I don't have it go all the way. You know where there's like a cut on that card.
Yeah.
I leave it just past it, so that then can slide out if I ever fancy doing that.
Let's be honest. It's a very poor box. It looks good.
I like the idea of it.
I like the idea, but it looks good, but it's not. It's poor quality, and it's not well thought out from a user point of view. In terms of the accessories, I am underwhelmed by the little booklet that comes with it, because it should have been hardbacked. And I don't understand the sticker that says "Beam me up, Mr. Spock," because it was always "Beam me up, Scotty" that Kirk was supposed to have said and never did. So it was sort of like, kind of felt it was made by people who didn't really watch Star Trek. Other than that, what's in there is okay.
Well, you got the bump. I mean, the bump stickers are fun if you want to put them on a car.
Yeah.
If that's your bag. No. I mean, it won't be on my electric car. There's some stickers there that you could use somewhere. There's a small poster.
Yeah.
You got the art cards, which we always get with a lot of 4K Blu-ray, different versions, which are the shots that would have been used originally from the promotion of the film.
Yeah.
They're fine. Regarding the whatchamacallit, the pamphlet that you would rather see in a book form, to be honest, you're better off getting the book I got, which would be far more worth it, which is the Coffee Table Star Trek, the motion picture book.
Yeah, but the whole point, though...
No, I know what you're saying, yeah.
As part of the box set, it should have been more substantial. It felt like I'd been to the doctor's and I'd picked up a leaflet about something, rather than it was something that, had a lot of detail on about Star Trek.
Yeah.
That came in the box. It just felt like something you get from your doctor's surgery. So I wasn't happy with it. So in terms of packaging, I would give it 2 out of 10. Now,
well, if it was out of 5, it'd be 1 out of 5. But...
1 out of 5, 2 out of 10, whatever. In terms of the movie, I put this in my 4K player. My God, is it beautiful.
Well, they have done this from the bottom. They have actually started this from the bottom and worked it back up again.
Yeah.
With all the different enhancements. That if you play your DVD, it looks shoddy at best, which came out some time ago. But the quality of this, there is some grain in it occasionally. There's a little bit about a focus on some shots, but
there is in terms of like some of the blue screening, because it wasn't green screening that day; it was blue screens.
Yeah, there
was some very badly masked out areas and stuff like that. Particularly, I noticed it in the bit where they're in the lounge part where it's Spock, Kirk, and McCoy.
So wait, because they changed that, because originally they didn't have the nacelles in the background, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
They put those in on the director's cut.
Yeah.
But they still tweaked them again anyway.
And the new graphics are absolutely amazing. But I think the bits where it really, it's like it just popped in so many places, particularly towards the end of the movie where you've got that surrounded by Vija, and the way that in the original version of the motion picture, all of those hexagons that appeared were all sort of like all round the dish, whereas in the director's cut it makes this bridge.
Yeah, and it sort of materializes.
Yeah, you see it materializing, and it's absolutely beautiful the way that they've done it. And the bit where Spock is going to go into Vija, and that you look at that and it hurt my eyes. It was so good because I was so used to seeing that movie in lower quality and just seeing it, and it just felt like you were looking at Leonard Nimoy in a spacesuit. Do you know what I mean? It just like he was there. It was such good quality. So in terms of a director's cut, we've been badgering at Paramount, signing petitions and stuff like this for years to get this into 4K. And they've definitely not disappointed in the movie. The packaging, rubbish. The movie, brilliant. Yeah. Anybody who's wants the movie, get the movie in the £24.95 Blu-ray, 4K Blu-ray. Don't bother with this. Don't get the complete edition because, to be honest, there's nothing in there. I'm only ever going to reference the movie. I'm not going to be bothered about some of the, like the other stuff, the bumper stickers, stuff like that. You don't need them, and they're rubbish.
Oh, it is. Tat is where a tat has always been, if you know what I mean.
I don't know.
That's why
sometimes you can get good ones. It's like Donnie Darko, Flash Gordon. They had good other bits in them, but this is just naff. But the movie.
But it depends what you want. It depends if you're such a diehard fan that you will go, because I know loads of people have gone for this, and they will do because it's the way it goes. What's interesting is that when you originally saw this movie, and when you see the bridge layout of Earth as the satellites come from Vija to cover the Earth to destroy it as such, and you see Vija in the middle as a little star sitting there like that on top of the Earth. But then when you see Vija properly for real out of the cloud and what that actually looks like, you can get the feeling of why that was a star, because you can see at the front that's how it looked with all the way it was 3D looked, and it's just utterly incredible to see. Even the introduction, even the beginning. So after the Klingons have failed miserably at their attack, and you see Captain Kirk, or should I say Admiral Kirk, flying into San Francisco, and how they tweaked that and made that just looks gorgeous. Just that small minute scene or whatever it is of them just flying through the bridge and coming into landing. And even when it lands, you'll notice on the right hand side they made a separate deck on the right, so you can see ships above it as well that are parked up, and there's all these little things that are going on throughout the film from that, and the cloud looks more alive with the way the smoke of the cloud and everything like that. The soundtrack itself, as in the sound you're hearing, the clicks, the buttons, the noises off the consoles were never there. I mean, as soon as you get to you got the Klingon console and they're firing off their torpedoes, and you can hear the noise of the console clicking and beeping away, which you never had.
It brings it to life.
It does.
That's what it does. It just lifts that movie, and this is the thing, a good sound score that, and when I say a score, I mean not only the music,
soundtrack,
but
soundtrack.
The whole soundtrack.
Yeah.
It just, and they've really done a massively good job with this. And in Dolby Atmos, it's great. It
still sounds very, very excellent, even in 5.1 from my point of view. The bass on it's really nice as well. It's just a pleasure to watch. I wish there was more films that could have this treatment sometimes.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, this is what we wanted. You know, when we badgered Paramount, you know, asking for this movie in 4K, they gave us exactly what we asked for.
Mm.
And there's no two ways about it. You know, we said this movie is fantastic. We want this properly, and they've done a great job of it. And I was less impressed by this movie at the cinema than I was actually.
Well, yeah, because the print wouldn't have been as high quality.
Well, it's digital projection.
No, I know, but it isn't.
It was 2K. It was 2K. It wasn't 4K.
No.
And when you look at it in 4K, it strains your eyes because it is so detailed.
But even when you look at people like Kirk coming off the shuttle, or even the scenes where you've got in the space station watching what's going on, and it's all more. It's crisp. It's clear. The skin tones are better. You know, I'm going to say that even with the other films. The last couple in the end, the colours of the uniform now stand out and stuff like that. It's just big differences.
And this was the only movie that they had this style uniform on. And granted, some of them looked like they were stood in pyjamas, but actually, when you look at like Kirk's uniform. I actually really like that style. All right, the belt bit, the buckle bit, you know, on his thing, which was sort of like inside the material, and then he had this like plastic thing, you know, in the middle of his stomach. Looked a bit odd, and it was a bit cheesy 70s.
I mean, the way it goes, the way the uniform goes down to their boots, and the way it sits in their boots as well was a bit odd. But it's just like they look like they were made out to be dentists, you know.
But I like that uniform. And I wish that there was more Star Trek using that uniform, because everything uses the Wrath of Khan era uniform from, you know, if it's, or it uses the original series. This middle one, this bridge of a uniform, doesn't get used anywhere.
No, it doesn't. No.
And it's a shame because it was actually quite cool.
Did you notice they've all got Fitbits on? I watch what I call them. So they keep...
Star Trek invented the iPad, it invented the smartphone, it invented the Apple Watch. Let's face it, it did it all.
You can see, I never really noticed them before until I was watching it again. I thought they're actually wearing like a clamp wrist watch of some kind. And
yeah, well, it reminded me more of the Microsoft Band. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, I remember them.
It's much more like that. But if you look, even in The Wrath of Khan, they're using the wrist communicators, and then halfway through the movie, when Kirk's talking to the Enterprise, they change over to handheld communicators.
Yeah, when you're in Genesis Cave.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's a sight to be seen, and I know it's had a rough time over the years. It was a bit of a flop. It was rushed out because they had to get out at a certain point. The special effects weren't ready.
But what we want, let's face it, what we really, really want is the extra bits of footage where V'Ger attacks Kirk with the triangles. But they're not going to do that because they made a cock-up in the production, because when you see this in the director's cut, Kirk puts on a spacesuit, and then the next cut's Kirk's in space, but he's wearing a different suit.
I mean, there's some things that they could have actually tweaked. I mean, there's lots of some continuity like that. But
yeah, but to be fair, they could have done AI learning and just replaced his suit. That with modern technology, that would not have been an issue now. They could have changed it with CGI. But you see that you're talking about the extra expense. And would it have been worth it? Paramount? Yes, it would. But thank you for producing such a wonderful version of the director's cut of the motion picture. Anyway, because I loved watching that. I've watched it about 3 times, and interestingly, and Steve had this on his system. You had yours pixelated, didn't you? And I just as a
because you hadn't said I haven't watched it yet. I'm thinking you hadn't watched it yet. I wasn't sure where you thought. Really?
Just as I hadn't watched it all the way through. I'd like watched it, stopped, restarted, and all this, that, and the other, which can have a different effect. But I think you said yours stopped doing it when you updated your firmware for your Blu-ray player, and that's because on certain certain models of LG and Samsung Blu-ray players.
I had that with Samsung.
Yeah. Sorry?
I had that with Samsung once before. I remember, because I don't know what disc it was I bought, but there was a problem, and I think I had a real job getting those days. Then I had to get it onto disc. I think I can't remember now. Long story, but even though Samsung aren't making Blu-ray players anymore, are they? They're of Sony or someone. They're not making them anymore. But it's it is.
Update your firmware because
I do this at work all the time, and I thought I'd been there before, but again, you don't know how quick they want to bring firmware out. Look at the games with the updates we get on patches. Yeah, they're constant.
I mean, ironically, I must have had an updated version to the one you had because I didn't get the issues. But even when I switched my Blu-ray on, and I'd been watching movies, it said there's an update waiting for you. So there's been a recent patch. But it's because LG and Samsung players certain models have had a difficulty reading the higher capacity discs.
Yeah, and obviously with some of these discs with multi-films on it, I know it's only, to be honest, some of it's branching, but not always, not the case. It might be actually 2 movies sitting there somehow on top of each other. I don't know how they do it.
Well, it's different layers, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And that's what they're trying to patch out with the firmware is, some of the players not being able to read the 100 megabyte discs as effectively, which is why you get stutter or pixelation.
Yeah.
But it's definitely worth checking your firmware update if you're getting these issues on a disc, because I did that and it resolved my problem straight away.
Yeah.
Anyway, shall we go on to the questions?
John, what's happening to us?
Okay, so we'll start with Mark's questions. So his first question, having recently been to EGX and ended up slightly disappointed, do you think there's still a place for conventions today?
Having been to Insomnia and equally been slightly disappointed, I would say yes, there is. But I've been to Insomnia twice this year, and the second one was not good at all.
I think it's down to the way the world is now, to be honest, because I was looking back at some photographs, timelines. Do you remember this on this 6 years ago and that? And there's some EGX ones there where I'm next to the Assassin's Creed guillotine, and they were out there promoting more those days than they are now. It's more of a digital world again, unfortunately. And
I was going to say, I think the reason for that is because of the COVID pandemic.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
And I think that this is just still the thing, and I think it's taking time for people to get the trust in these things again, that they're not going to get infection, stuff like that. Because I was watching BBC Click, and they were talking about one of the technology shows over in Germany, and they were saying, well, at the moment, we're only about 80% of what we used to be, because of people attending. And you thought, those halls look actually a little bit empty.
Star Trek Destination was this weekend or last weekend?
It was cancelled, wasn't it?
Well, there was one that was on, but it was very disappointing.
Was it Germany?
Or Germany. It might have been Germany. But they were still very quiet, and a few people didn't turn up and stuff like that. Now I think we're lucky to go when we did, to be honest, because I don't think it would be like that again.
Oh, I think it will. I think it'll get back. I think it's got a few more years to go before we get there. But let's face it, let's think about what's going on in the world at the moment. We're recovering from COVID, yeah? That had a massive impact on production for things. So we know just from reading out the games that were coming out in October, it used to take us 10 minutes just to read those out. It took about 2, yeah? And none of them were big AAAs, really, that we were releasing. And that's the thing. The big companies, COVID's hit them hard, and now they're not producing, or the development has been very much delayed. On top of that, we've got the cost of living crisis. People don't have as much money to buy games. That people are not spending the money. We've got Game Pass sort of taking over the world, a bit like the Borg, coming in, resistance is futile. And then on top of that, we've got the Ukrainian crisis, and this constant looming discussion over Putin dropping a bomb, nuclear bomb, and all of that. So I can kind of understand why people think I'll just stay at home. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And because they're not showing much, and they need. I think the whole infrastructure needs to start to build back up. And let's face it, we're having a worldwide recession at the moment. It's already started, whether or not anybody's actually admitting.
So the pound is not worth peanuts at the moment, is it?
Well, but let's be fair. That's because of the government rather than anything else. And their decision to, give the mates a tax cut and stuff like that. But in terms of, the way the world is, we're in a very, very different world to what we were 5 years ago or 6 years ago when we went to Destination Star Trek.
Yeah.
In fact, it must be 6 years ago because it was 5 years since my dad died, and we went before my dad died.
It's the 50th anniversary, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, it is a long time ago, and we're in a very, very different world now, and we've all been through an awful lot as a result of everything in the last few years. So it's not surprising that that's had a toll on conferences, but that's not to say they're not starting up again. At work, I am organising a conference for schools, and I've got 260 people coming to it from 159 schools that I'm having to deliver in 2 weeks. That is amazing. Never had that many schools. So I would say maybe, I think the business world is starting to recover and go back to this sort of thing. And I think that after that, as people get more confidence in these things again, and there's more to show, we'll go back.
If the Ukraine war can finish, because it's affecting food and everything else that we get in this country, it's costing a fortune. My missus, she said to me, you know what, I can't find salt anywhere. I just haven't found it on the shelves. I'm thinking, don't be stupid. She said, no, honestly, it's, go Lidl or Aldi, something like that. They just don't have it on the shelves anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah.
It's a mess.
It's the whole world is a mess at the moment.
Yeah.
And
you're lucky I got my lights on. You're lucky I got my lights on a minute. It's a low wattage bulb. We're okay and whatever else, but normally I'm not. I'll be in the dark now because I'm trying to save a little bit. Any energy I can scrimp and save, I'm doing it.
Well, yeah, and also you've got to get those energy efficient air light bulbs rather than the E ones.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. That's the world that we're in because everything that's happened, we've had a few decades of stability in the world, and now the world has gone crackers.
I don't think you've had it as bad as this. I can remember. There was a recession in the 80s, but I did a lot of work away, and I was all right. I did okay out of that.
Yeah, but you were younger. To be fair, you were younger. You were probably more brash, and you just wouldn't have, things like that. You didn't get concerned about.
No, I was married at the time, and I remember.
I know, but
and it was Thatcher's reign at the time, and people were saying that whatever, blah blah blah, But no, I can't believe I'm there now, turning off my microwave off and unplugging it until I want to use it again. I'm looking to buy an air fryer to not use the oven. I've got a bit of leftover money from my my work.
Get the Ninja one.
Yeah,
the Ninja one that lifts up, because
Lifts up.
We've got an air. Yeah. It's more like a barbecue in the way that it.
Because there's the one with the. Sorry, I know we're digressing here. There's one with 2 drawers.
The 2-drawer one looks quite good as well.
But that's over 200 quid though. I mean, I've got about 70 quid I can spend on one at the moment, I think.
Yeah, we got a Cook's Works one, but the container that you put everything in.
How many litres is it?
It's about like your middle-sized pan out of your set of 3 pans.
Because they come as, you can get them as, I think, 3, 4, 5, 6, even 7 litre.
Yeah.
And I think a 5 litre can get a full chicken in there.
Yeah,
for example.
This one, the really big chicken breasts that you can get, the ones that are about like that.
Crowns, like?
Yeah, no, breasts.
Okay.
You get in packs.
Yeah.
Well, the bigger ones are those. I can fit 2 of them side by side in my air fryer, and it takes a lot longer to cook. Actually, not as long as an oven, but if you just get normal size ones, you can fit 3 in.
I mean, we had chicken and chips the other night, Saturday night, just as a quick one, and it was like not Kentucky Fried Chicken style, but and some chips which were overcooked, unfortunately, a bit tough. But that was in the oven for 40 minutes.
Yeah, well,
do you know what I mean? And that energy that took to cook that when you could do it in an air fryer for about 20.
Well, maybe not the chips. This is why you would need the 2 drawers.
Yeah.
Which would be a better idea, or get the bigger Ninja one that's quite
with the two buckets in them.
Well, the Ninja one you can do all sorts. We're going to get the Ninja one when we've got the extension done. That's the plan. It's come after Christmas. We're going to get into sales, or maybe on Black Friday the Ninja.
It's a sale on Amazon at the moment, isn't there? At the moment.
Yeah, it's on all the time, but. I love the air fryer because we just don't switch the oven on very often at all now.
I don't when I'm trying to switch it on. I get, I'm terrible.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the pennies. I know it's right or wrong to have it's not OCD or anything like that. But when you're looking at your
well, you got to cut corners where you can. I mean, it's like we used to, I used to do my head in, my wife, because. It'd be like, oh, let's go shopping. And go 10 minutes down the road, 10 minutes back, and then go and shop some, pick up a couple of things. What I'll do is I'll switch the oven on so it's ready for when we come back. Like, no. And I kept, we always had this argument. Now she just knows don't put the oven on because it costs so much money. But it's actually quite amazing because the cheapest thing to run is the microwave because that's the quickest.
Yeah.
The next thing is an air fryer. And then your oven is like the last thing that you would want to put on because that, your kettle, your iron, and your tumble dryer are the most expensive things.
Well, the tumble dryer we've got to have, unfortunately, you got no choice. That's one's going to have to go on.
But I was on one of these energy saving sites, and they were on about these dryers that you can get that blow air up and go into like a pocket thing. And I said, yeah, I've got one of these. It's fantastic. It's so much cheaper. The only thing is, it takes about 6 to 8 hours to do, and it uses like 2 kilowatts an hour. So it's a tumble dryer would take 3 kilowatts in an hour. How is that cheaper? How is your thing cheaper than a tumble dryer? Because a tumble dryer it uses more electricity quicker, but it uses it quicker.
As long as it's an efficient tumble dryer.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah, but so we've done all of what you're doing as well, and it's just the way the world is. Yeah. 5 years ago, you wouldn't have thought of all of this sort of stuff.
We are going to get £66 a month back till March.
Yeah, I've already had the
conversation. I spoke.
Octopus.
So I spoke to our utility warehouse. I got cut off from the call, unfortunately. But the main bit was she said, what we'll do is that will come out. say your bill was £200, they would take then the £66 off it, and that's what you pay.
Well, I mean, as you know, I've invested in solar energy.
Yeah.
And even with solar energy, because there's 3 of us, 2 of us are working from home all of the time, and we've also just come out of the summer holidays. That's another big factor. And my son's been on his computer all the time. Last month's bill for electricity was £79.80 just for the electric with solar. Yeah, that's so we've been generating. Now we've actually sold electricity back to the grid in that time as well. And in 2 months, and bearing in mind when it goes cloudy, you don't generate a lot, half a kilowatt. That's just enough to keep the house ticking over. Me and my wife on our computers, nothing else on. Yeah? If a slightest bit of sun comes out, you get a kilowatt or more electricity. That's great. That goes into the battery, charges up. We spend it on an evening. But September and late August was so cloudy, believe it or not, we actually didn't generate that much going back into the battery, which is why our electric bill went up. But because it's getting colder, you get less clouds, so we'll generate more electricity. Because it's got nothing to do with the temperature, it's got to do with the light.
Yeah, of course it has. I mean, light does go through the clouds anyway, but
it does, but it's dispersed light at that point, so it's not when it hits the
not
solar
concentrated.
Panel, it doesn't do it. But I'll tell you what, in 2 months with bad air, with a lot of cloud coverage, we've sold £58 worth of electricity back to the national grid.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, because we're on the Octopus. We're on the Octopus Agile thing, so they change the amount that you pay every half hour, but you get like 30-40 pence per kilowatt.
I got money back to come as well, but basically, your electric's a little bit more, but your gas isn't. But I'm thinking, don't talk to me like that, because I look at my smart meter, I look at how much I'm spending in a month on gas and electric at the same time, and if I'm spending 120 £120 a month or something at the moment, and I'm actually using 90 quid worst at the moment over the last few months. So I'm saving 30 quid a time a month at the minute, which will be helpful because I don't know how long that 66 quid is going to last for. Once March comes, they might give us some more. I don't know. They might say not. Who knows?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was looking at the cost of my bills last year, and in the middle of winter, we were like paying. Well, we had £400 bills per month, but because we pay over the year, it averages it out. So you pay, so you go in debt and then you get out of debt and then you get credit and then you go out, out of credit back into debt and it,
Yeah, well, I was in a 4-bed house before pre-November last year.
Yeah.
And my electricity bill on that smart meter was £9 or £10 a day with a 4-bed house and 4 people living in it.
Yeah, well, you see, there's 3 people living in mine. Technically speaking, you could call this a 4-bed house because of the extension. We're just about to have another, extension put on. So it's, my electric bill is well and above the net national average. So when we're capped at 2,000, the 2,500 supposed cap sort of thing that they're on about, that means that my electricity bill will be about 3,500.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get Maggie's question because...
Yeah. Okay, so what's your best experience you've ever had at a convention, gaming or otherwise?
I think it was actually for the first time using 3D as such with the virtual reality stuff. When I was at one of the CGXs, whatever we call it, at Elscourt, and I was playing your longest playing game you've been playing for years. Elite Dangerous, and had a chat with a guy, got to the front of the queue, got to play on that, told him we were a podcast, whatever, blah, 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 and pushed in. But that was pretty good. I did enjoy that. That was pretty good. Yeah. And what else did we play those days? I mean, one year, the one before that, we went to Birmingham when Connect was first coming out and stuff like that. Do you remember with that? But yeah, there was all sorts of bits and pieces. All good fun, you know.
Yeah, I remember the time when we went with people we used to podcast with and did that Assassin's Creed challenge. Do you remember? Because they had the 12 players and you all had to, you know, you had a race to solve, which ended up being like the first bit of Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, I remember now. Yeah.
That was quite good fun. and I was the one who won.
Yeah.
That was good. But in terms of sort of like the actual best experience that I've had at a conference, I reckon it was at the Star Trek conference when we spoke to Armin Shimmerman, because he was so nice. He was such a nice guy.
He was normal, wasn't he? He's just normal person.
And also George Ty as well. He was fantastic. Yeah, Bill Shatner was what you expected. Bill Shatner,
because Bill,
I am Star Trek. Well, you're not anymore, mate. You used to.
Yeah. But then I remember listening to Leonard Nimoy's son, because obviously I was watching. I don't think you saw them because you were somewhere else. Remember rightly, probably.
I went to another speech.
Yeah, and I was watching the one to do with the Love of Spark, with that documentary, and he was on stage talking about that, and just such a nice person to listen to.
Yeah. I was actually listening to his fiance at the time.
Yeah, who's now his wife.
Yeah. Because Terry Farrell was being interviewed on another stage together with Anna Visitor, and
but there was some other bits I missed. I know we walked past it, and I should have sat down and listened to about Star Trek too. But there's so much to do there, and it was good fun. Yeah,
that was good, and also it was really great. I really wish I could remember the name of the guy who did it, but the one who came up to us, you, Haydn and Steve, the Scottish guy, do you remember?
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you who that was now.
And it was like, hang on a minute, you're so excited because you're talking to us. You know, it's like we're a couple of fat dads. That's William Shatner.
Over there.
Yeah, 20 feet over there is William Shatner.
And sitting on the bridge.
Yeah, and on the bridge of the Enterprise, and you're excited that you're talking to two fat dads, you know, from down south and up north.
Yeah, I know.
Sort of thing. It was just, that was really touching. So I was really sorry. If you let us know if you were that person. You know, let us know your name, because I've always wanted to remember what your name was, and I'm useless at remembering my name. My name, other people's names. Sometimes I'm not even that good at remembering my own name.
Yeah.
But let us know. Send us a tweet, or put it on the Facebook group or whatever, because I'd love to know.
Great. Right. Should we go to the Facebook questions?
Go on then.
We got 3. So, Jason Toon's first question. Well, his question is: after watching the Cyberpunk anime on Netflix, which I haven't watched yet actually, I felt the pull to continue playing Cyberpunk once again, and I forgot how great this game is. So, has there ever been a game that's maybe you fumbled launch and you loved, and despite the numerous problems and a bad word of mouth, and it may be received? That does happen a lot, doesn't it? You buy a game and you might put it in and never play it, and then go back and say, why didn't I not play this when it came out? I can say that from the Cyberpunk point of view, because it's such a fantastic game. Games of the past, anything else like that you think?
Well, in terms of games that you've loved despite the problems and the bad and
go on,
word of mouth.
I'm waiting.
No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
And that game has just gone from strength to strength over the years. Sony completely threw Hello Games under the bus. In about the fact they got in the bus, drove it over them, and then reversed over them, and then drove over them again. And again, just to make sure, But that was a great game. I was happy with it as it was, and what they've added to it over the years.
Actually, saying that, there was a couple of Assassin's Creed games that had their issue, didn't they?
Unity is a perfect example of that, because I've completed that game.
I didn't have those issues. Game. Yeah, I never had the problems that I saw online with the eyes popping out and half of the
No,
You know.
it's just a very rare sort of occurrence.
Mm.
But I loved Assassin's Creed Unity. I thought it was actually, after it was patched, it was a great game.
Yeah.
It was, and I think it's a shame because I've forgotten what the character's name is, but the antagonist in that is it's one of the better assassins in the Assassin's Creed thing. I think he was to the same standard of Ezio, but because he had a rubbish launch, that character never got a second second thing, and I think that there was the that could have happened with that, and then they went to 3, and I still don't like Connor. Never liked him as a character. He was just a bit whingy. You know what I mean? Whereas Anno, wasn't it, or something like that? I can't remember. It was, but I'm sure it was that. He was a really good character. It was a good story. I really enjoyed Assassin's Creed Unity once it was patched. And I have it on all formats, so...
Yeah, there's not... I mean, the only one Assassin's Creed game I've never played yet, don't even own, is the latest one.
Odyssey?
No, that's not the latest one.
Oh, Valhalla, sorry. Yeah. I've got it on 2 platforms, and...
I have no urge.
I can't finish it. There is something about it, just is gloomy. It's just, to me, Assassin's Creed has been a bit like a Bond film in terms of it's been in exotic places. Then it was London, didn't like it, and now it's England again, still don't like it. I just don't see what people see in Valhalla. I just, as an Assassin's Creed game, don't like it. Odyssey, brilliant. Origins, brilliant. Unity, brilliant. 2, Brotherhood, Revelations, all of those, loved them. First, playing it now, love it. The other ones, not bothered about. Black Flag, that was another good one as well. Couldn't quite get on with... the
360 one that came out beside it?
Yeah.
But there's a new... What about this Skull and Bones that's coming out at some point?
What about it?
You ever thought maybe pick it up, play it maybe?
No, I don't think so.
Because at the time it was like, oh yeah, we've enjoyed playing the Assassin's Creed sort of game on that, but Ubisoft for bringing out that Skull and Bones
doesn't appeal.
So yeah. Anyway, do you want to do the next question?
Okay, so Mike Barden has asked, the new Gen consoles were introduced in November 2021, nearly a year ago. Is it only nearly a year? Feels longer. Did you expect more next-gen games by now? We all know it takes developers a few years to push the limits, but I did expect to see more games that use the system potential more. Your views?
I think we would have done compared to what we've been talking about for the last half an hour.
Yeah, I think it's been severely impacted by the pandemic.
Also, I think the limited amount of consoles they can get out there is that they maybe have not... If there was more consoles out there for more customers, they might have pushed themselves a bit more.
But don't you think that the issue is the limited number of consoles is because the parts are not available because of the pandemic? It all still goes back to the same root cause. There's no new games.
There's no new chips out there.
The pandemic, and there's no new consoles because of the pandemic. Because, it had such a massive impact on everything. But, yeah, I think that this generation of consoles, it's not been a good...
It's probably going to last longer, actually. I think normally they've got like a 5-year cycle or whatever it might be.
7.
I think this... Or 7, yeah. I think this could be longer, I think, because of that.
I hope it is. Although, have you heard about the new proposals for the Sony PS5?
Yeah, I heard about that, yeah.
With the pluggable disk drive. Actually, I think...
And the slim as well.
No, they're not doing a slim. What they're doing is...
the idea of a slim, anyway.
They've pared down the console. The footprint will still be the same in terms of its size, But what you can do with the new digital one is take the cover off, put a disc drive in, put a new cover on with a slot. I think that's a fantastic idea, because if you decide you want to go back to physical media, you have the option if you get the digital version. You don't have that option otherwise.
No.
Other than buy a new console.
Yeah.
Interesting thought.
Mm.
And that sort of like goes down the lines that Microsoft got severely criticised for saying, what would you think about swappable graphics cards and stuff like that for consoles?
Yeah.
It's already doing a bit of copying there.
So why?
Or did it first?
Yeah, I mean, but why do it anyway? Sony, I just don't get them anyway. They just...
Yeah, but think about it. You know, it's like at the moment, you're struggling for cash. You really want a new console. So you can buy let's hypothetical, $299 PS5 without a drive, or a $399 PS5 with a drive. But if you buy the one without a drive, in 6 months' time, you could have saved up £150 to get the plug-in drive. You're going to go with getting the digital version now and then get the drive later on, especially if it all fits in internally and you just put a new side on.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's actually a genius idea by Sony.
Who knows? We'll see.
It gives people more options for the future.
Yeah. Because
let's face it, the digital dream isn't there. You still want physical media.
Actually, that's something that just reminded me of a little story that was in the background that wasn't really mentioned too much. But Xbox have got rid of DRM.
Really?
Yeah. So the idea is that you have to have the internet plugged in to play your games. They've got rid of it. I heard a story a few days ago about it. Completely got in my head.
It's a closed network anyway. It's difficult to get a game onto the system. So
I mean, I will. I've not actually had a chance to try it yet, but apparently that is a thing now, that you can now play your games offline. So if you lose your internet, you can still carry on. Well, obviously, depending on the game it is, because some games need the internet for games like Destiny. You're not going to play
Destiny 2 without the internet, are you?
You can't log onto the servers, can you?
That's what I mean.
But there's games, other games you can play. You can probably play Forza 5 without you choking on something there. Anyway.
Yeah, sorry.
Shall I do the last question then? So Bill Wilson, he says here, did you have any part-time job whilst in education to help pay for your hobbies? He started at the age of 13 in '84. God, I was a teenager then. With a morning and evening and a Sunday paper round until the local milkman pushed me out of work for five mornings before Saturdays and before school and Saturdays. And with milk money and two evenings a week, he finally, up to his sixth form, he was working at McDonald's on decent pay. So what he's been doing is he's been working part-time all the way up to school to pay for his hobby there. But good on you for doing it. It ain't easy trying to, if you're a kid, to afford those things, especially at the prices they are now. But did you do anything like that? I certainly didn't.
I did from, I think, fifth form. So by the look of it, Paul and I, if he was 13 in '84, were the same age. Cracking year to be born there, mate. But in terms of working, I think I was 15, I think, or maybe about 15, and I worked in a kitchen doing the washing up.
Oh boy, what do they call it?
Yeah, well, instead of doing the washing up, it was mainly loading the dishwashers and then washing out the pans. So I would do that. I did that for ages, which is where I met some people who also had like Commodore Amigas, like I had.
I mean, he did. I've got to say, I did just read the last part of it. He says here that when he's working for McDonald's, he had that food allowance, but at the end of the night, all the unsold cooked food had to be counted and thrown away for tax reasons. So I have a bite of each burger, then bin it. He never went home hungry.
Don't blame him.
But then again, a lot of stores do this now, where they will give food for charity if it gets unsold. But yeah, I can imagine. But yeah, good on you for doing what you did, mate.
But after that, I also was a toilet cleaner as well in a local gardening centre chain.
Yeah.
That is near me, called Strikes. And yeah, so I was a toilet cleaner for the staff toilets, and it was the most disgusting job I've ever done. And I've heard of people being deliberate toilet missers, and it's not necessary.
Do you know what? Right, I do a lot of driving, as you know, around the south, and I'll go to a BP garage or wherever I need to go to these days. Some of them are just disgusting, absolutely awful, and I can't believe people go there, use them the way they do it, and walk out. And some of them didn't even wash it.
But I mean, what I can't get, and this happened to me, on more than one occasion where I was working.
Yeah.
How can you miss the toilet when you sat on it?
No. I'm not going to say how my thoughts. I'm not going to say my thoughts on that from my point.
And you get it on the wall as a solid that then rolled down and landed on the floor. But I was working in a place where people were doing that, and it's like, why do you do that at work? You disgusting, inhuman. Yeah. It's awful.
Yeah.
And I then had to clean that up, and it was just honestly, I can honestly say I have worked from the bottom up. That's all I can say.
Anyway, we'll call it a night, I think.
Yeah.
On that note. So, contact details. Twitter at Stevo07. PSN ID, the real Stevo07. Xbox is Stevo07. And my YouTube channel, The Vinyl Cues. And I have a new Instagram account under the same name, which I've started to do as well now because I redid it. And yourself, sir?
So myself, it's HERJUK on everything except Epic, where it's Pop Culture Gamers. And then don't forget, for the show, we have our YouTube channel, youtube.com/popculturegamers, our Twitter feed, which is Pop Culture Gamer, our Facebook group, and our Facebook page. You can email podcast@popculturegamers.co.uk, and there's our website, Anchor FM/popculturegamers.
And that's episode 146 in the bag.
Woohoo.
Which is a long time coming because we've been a while. But there you go.
It's been 6 weeks.
Yeah, it has.
Where did that time go?
I know. It's dreadful, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it's just we've had an awful lot on, all of us, and it's been holidays. And to be fair, there's not been that much going on in terms of releases and stuff like that.
No, just Sony moaning at Xbox.
Yeah. Complaining about the standard of Game Pass games, which is half the number of games and half the quality all in one go.
But hey ho. Anyway, I think that's probably a good night from me.
And it's a good night from him.
Good night, guys.
Good night.